Okay, I didn't want to make part two, but let's just finish this. So again, there's 4 categories of martial arts. They all are dishonorable. 1 is people who focus on it as an art. 2 is family oriented. 3 is beat up as a culture. 4 is self-defense. None of these have anything to do with truly traditional systems that convey the intangible heritage of African people that came up with these arts, or ritual systems of making people into truly men. Pure morality, no yin-yang, no accepting evil, pure manhood, pure masculine spirit, manhood. Not being big and strong and being a rapist or something, not being a brute, not being an idiot, not being a knucklehead, not Western conceptions of masculinity, but masculinity in terms of virility, manhood, virtue, okay? The highest standard of virtue. Even Socrates, who was a pedophile and a homosexual, said the pursuit of virtue is greater than the pursuit of wealth, and that was some 400 or so years before Christianity is said to have started with Jesus. All right. The civilizers of mankind were black African martial artists. They went from being the most honored of people. They went from being the obis, right? The heart, the temple, the king, okay? The temple is the body, right? The hut, okay? To being seen as Jabba the Hutts, right? Ra-Ba, the soul that is associated with the body, that returns to the body in the funerary rituals in Egyptian mythology in the later periods at least. Okay, but certainly there's some truth to that. Okay, why people visit the sites of their graves and battlefields and so on. Okay, so they went from being the most honored people to being the most stigmatized and seen as the most criminal. But white people historically are the most criminal people. Who were the pirates? Who were the colonists who basically stole land from other people, lied to them about contracts? They had dishonorable forms of warfare and justified the rape and pillage of people and screening them out, which continues to this day, taking the most attractive women from their races and giving them to their own people and to token minorities who are quite often more related to them, right? The descendants of white people in closed societies and military societies, etc. All right. Number one, they take what makes black men, that would make black men men, okay? Especially the most aggressive. They would find their manhood in a martial arts system, right? Even in the BBC series Shaka Zulu in popular culture, you had the Oneto, or whatever they called it, a ritual where Zulus would become men, and they would take spears and shields as symbols of honor and manhood, okay? So they took that from them. And obviously this causes the breakdown of the family. They lose respect with the women. Women feel like they don't have as much of a reason to respect the men. They act like whores and prostitutes and strippers and bitches, tatted sluts, showing cleavage, dressing like Nicki Minaj kind of trash. Okay, this is a direct consequence of this. This is not the black community's fault. They have taken away the things that keep them from being that way, that they are naturally inclined and have natural proclivities toward taking part of, and they have taken them away, and this resulted in these despicable activities. Number 2, they made martial arts white-friendly to give them advantages and use it on blacks. Instruction and body structure, right? Configure and the body figure, okay? Physique, physics, physician. And obviously I'm the child of 2 physicians, anatomy, right? Anna, anaconda, Anna, earth mother, in Igbo culture. Okay, so number 1, they took away their martial arts from them, which was how their process of becoming men. 2, especially the most aggressive, who are more likely to become criminals in the absence of this, one could argue. Number 2, they make it white-friendly to give them the advantage and use it on blacks. 3, they reinvent blacks as criminal rapists, and they stigmatize them the most. And 4, what we're seeing now is they're chemically castrating them. They're using they're using psych meds to reduce their testosterone levels and to reduce their inhibitions and reservations, to further compound the problem and to increase the drugging, so that the pharmaceutical sector is more profitable than ever, pretty much. All right. We look at the words test and set, right? Remember, the T is the feminine suffix. Test can become the word tease, and so can set. It can also become the word ease, and so can set, going back to rape, right? E, pure, backwards. The pure E is the rapist. He's from set. Add ease, Hades, okay? Quiz, Okay, that goes back to the ki versus the ka. The ki is the feminine energy that is not meant to be elevated over the masculine energy. That is God's plan in reverse, right? Ray verse. The rays, versus the core that is conveying the spirit. Okay, so keys, right? Look up the word ki in martial arts, right? It has everything to do with qigong and so on and so forth. Versus the ka, which is the masculine, okay, spirit of the creator. And of course, this is meant to be conveyed through the martial arts system, through Pharaoh, through the people he trains, and then when they say it having it being impressed upon them by the top martial artist. Not a female, not a psychologist, not a scientist, not a politician, not some kind of token minority bitch, not a gang member, on and on and on. But the top martial artist, Pharaoh, in a state of pure honor and pure loyalty to the creator, being willing to die on a moment's notice for the highest principles, not a bunch of bitches trying to conform and find their lives and protect their families with family-oriented martial arts schools, with all due respect. It also reminds me of the song Macho Man, kind of gay guy saying macho, macho, right? And kind of with the suit and kind of thong on, whatever diaper, whatever they're wearing, dancing around, right? This is not manhood. Of course, when you see on the left, obviously they're trying to take away conceptions of manhood. The two aren't compatible. A guy who's a man does not respect a guy acting like a sugared up child, plugging kids and shit like that. Now, some gays are, there's a spectrum of weirdos in every group. All right. Goddess, right? The G is the hidden G of masonry, the seventh letter. Okay, we get odd, ease. Okay, see, day, and God dies. Why? Among other things. Why do we get these things? Well, because they want women to take on a certain sexy shape that is similar to a martial artist. The key in the martial artist that goes to the women, right? Martial artists are basically, if they're not guys, big bullies beating people up, they're people in this kind of feminine spirit in the absence of the pure ra, ka, ba, ka spirit. Now I had to keep it down because it's early in the morning. Okay, the rising sun. They're basically in the female spirit, dancing around like ballerinas, putting an emphasis on illusion, demonstration, demon, right? Demos is the peasant, where the peasant overlapped with the woman and tried to usurp the male patriarchs, biblical patriarchs, but before that, the martial art patriarchs is where they related and started getting on the Satanism. That's why feminism is very compatible with open Satanism. And on the right, they're more in the closet, pedophile, racist forms of Satanism. A fixation on race, okay, by itself is satanic, right? It's of this world, it's flesh, it's worldly. Okay. Looking at it in terms of the spirit of God, when you look at a woman, mind, body, and soul, right? It is not wrong to look at a woman and say, hey, you're out of shape, okay? You are not attractive to me. You're not appealing because the spirit is not conveyed through you to the point where you're taking form, which is also part of formula, right? Taking form. Okay. Spar. Okay. Sparring in the absence of the spirit. Now, this is an English word. This is not African language. This word play is English, and the word for sparring is also the word for rapes backwards. Okay. The S can be seen as the plural ending of a word. Since you look at it forward and backwards, one could say you can remove the S and you get pure and pair, right? A pair, a couple. Okay. Two couple, two pair. We look at the post-traumatic stresses. When we look at the effects of rape, it is consistent with the bull's eye. Think about the red, angry bull in cartoons, if for nothing else. It's part of popular culture. Okay, post-traumatic stress disorder. This is the effect of somebody bullying a woman, and she, she's being raped unfairly. Okay. For example, if a woman who is purely evil was to be raped by a man under mind control, for example, okay, not that I think that this is okay. She probably would recover fairly quickly and just rip him off and feel like she got over. This example must be made to understand evil. Okay, what are the exact effects of rape and why? How are these reduced by the psychological construct? So there's the difference between a woman who has a home invasion who's raped, a woman who's date raped. Right? These are slightly different effects. Their memory of it, etc. Okay. Woman under a psychological kind of spell who's given sugars and nice wine and is led to believe that this psychopath CEO, there's 1 in 5 chance he's a psychopath, and I'll go as far as to say they're all psychopaths. Okay, this thing's incorrect. According to them, 1 in 5 CEOs are psychopaths. According to the martial artist who's more focused and has it down to a science and does surgical strikes, okay, they're all psychopaths taking advantage of this despicable, murderous pirate culture. Now remember, white people are the biggest criminal race. And they have convinced you using psychology that they are the biggest victims of criminality. How backwards is that? These people are living on land that they have stolen and ripped off from other people, natives, Mexicans. Even they ripping off other white people with the Louisiana Purchase from the French, if I recall correctly. They are thieves, rapists, and killers who continue to reap the rewards of ill-gotten gains that has collected interest. And when you're interested in somebody, right? Interest and interest, sexual interest, romantic interest. These are the people that define love, Roman romance. Okay, and these people, and you all accept their definitions. You may as well be rewinding time, making yourself white, and raping your own people. That is how complicit you are, and you're an idiot if you don't consider the evolution of psychology. You think these guys made it up during as cavemen and have been doing it the same way since? Yes, they're building on it. Yes, those countless people that graduate every year with psychology degrees. Yes, they're rapists. They're psychos. They're enforcing the psychos logos, psychology. Yes, it has everything to do with psyche and eros and pedophilia. Look up the story of psyche and eros. Psyche is basically the spirit, the feminine spirit of people, the soul. And she has sex with Eros, who's a child, whose Cupid is his equivalent, right? He's a child. Romance is childish. It is like Lord of the Flies, except for they're all plugging, okay? They're all homosexuals and sexually immoral. It is childish. It is stupid. Look at the look in the gay's eyes. Again, I'm not homophobic. I don't think people should gay bash, per se, okay? But when you look in their eyes, you see a child in a candy factory. It is childish to not accept that it is immoral to be that way. It is childish. It is childish to pretend there is no gay agenda. To pretend that this isn't a rape culture where homosexuals are a major political force. Everybody is taking advantage of the culture. The unattractive woman who's aligned to mental health. The rich, privileged white guy. The Jew. The rich Asian. The token black guy. All these guys are taking advantage of it. Everybody but me is taking advantage of the rape culture to the best of their ability to get the desired mate that they want. Okay? And you think this major force in politics, the LGBT community, they control Hollywood, Zuckerberg, the CEO of Apple, right? Apple, Facebook, cell phones, do the math, okay? Of course, in our culture, in politics, right? The media, the movies, Hollywood, whole E would. Remember, the pure E is the rapist. Most of these homosexuals wouldn't naturally be homosexual. They have been conditioned to be that. That's like, if somebody has an urge to kill somebody, does that mean they're naturally going to be a mass murderer and kill people every day? So it is with homosexuality. Even if they have a natural urge toward homosexuality in the proper martial arts system, they would not indulge in that. And they would find their heterosexual self and suppress their homosexual urges. But they're teaching people to, if you have any inclination toward homosexuality, to embrace it. That's why they catfish people. That's why they show people, they used to show men's butts in sex scenes and not women's. They would show, because they wanted you to look at things in terms of an erotic site and see it that way. That's why on Facebook they have singles groups, where they have a bunch of, obviously catfish women. Those aren't the women, just like porn bots or something. Those aren't the women in their picture. Okay, and then they have gay guys that are trying to blur the line between a man and a woman. So you first get turned on, and with that, in that turned on state of mind, you see a gay man's picture as you scroll down. This is part of dulling the senses, so you don't catch on to what they're doing and say this is wrong and resent them for it, but instead you're kind of sugared up kid at Disney, whoa, let me try this, I'm open to this. It's stupid. When you look up, how can I tell a tranny? They tell you not to question her in a way that would result in you figuring it out, but rather keep an open mind and let her reveal it on her time. So if you get a blowjob, you make out with this person, you feel them up, and so on and so forth. You don't know, and then, oh my gosh, keep an open mind. Be gay. They may as well say, don't bother to try to tell if she's a tranny or not. Just accept our gender-neutral society, bathrooms and all. Thank you.